Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Fate Remnant Collide, which by the way, I'm excited to do this episode. So yeah, let us begin. So we basically go to where we left off, as we currently see our boy Izuku, as he would be right beside these two new servants of his, Gilgamesh and Anastasia, the first hero and the last queen of Russia. As these two would get ready to fight, as they would both say, "Now, prepare to die to Roman Torchwick for daring to stand before me," he would say. Being that of our boy Gilgamesh, as Anastasia would say this, "Guess I'll just have to destroy you as well. I'll make you pay with your life," she would say. The rest of Team RWBY and Team Wrath would be, excited. Mostly because, well, at least they got some backup. Also, currently, nearby is our girl, well, Neapolitan, aka Neo, as she would be. So that's his semblance, she would say to herself. Well, not really say, but more like think or thought, as currently also nearby is Star and Neptune, as you would say. So that's Rex's semblance. As after saying that, they would say this, or at least she would say this. "Yeah, it seems so," said Star. As Gilgamesh would say this, "Very well, master," as he would say this while also summoning in portals, golden ones, as he would project out staves, more specifically magical staves, because, well, he's a caster in this form. So as after doing so, he would say, "Ha ha 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 ha, now face the wrath of the king," he would say, as he would fire off blasts of energy. As these golden blasts would rush towards Torchwick, as she would try and dodge all of them, nearly getting, part of his coat, destroyed. As he would say, "Hey, you know how expensive it is?" As Gilgamesh would say this, "Why would I care? Besides, I have everything that I need in my treasury," he would say. "Now, it's your turn, last princess of Russia," he would say, as she would say this. "Very well, first king," she would say, as she would start waving her hands, as she'd say, "Now, freeze," she would say, as blasts of ice would would rush towards him, as he would try to dodge the attack, but he would get stuck by a piece of ice, or more specifically, his leg would be froze. As you'd say, "Shit," he would say, as the large shadowy like creature known as V would basically reel up his hand and smash him. Doing so, he would be thrown into the ground, or at least punted into the ground, causing him to be, embedded into it. As you'd say, "Ow, that hurts." As she would say this. "Now, to finish you off," she would say, as she would start using her noble phantasm. As Izuku would think, "That soon?" he would say. As Anastasia would say her noble phantasm, "V, I beg of you," she would say, as the glowing eyes of V behind her would start glowing, as she would start, or at least V would start creating ice from her hands, as she would say this, "Curse them all, freeze them all, kill them all," as she would say, while her eyes would start glowing a pure blue, almost to the point that it's almost resembling that of Weiss's eye colors. As you say, "Activate Mystic Eyes. Go. V. V. V." As she would say that, as ice would basically say, surround Torchwick. Doing so, she would basically tell V to slam her arm towards the block of ice, now encompassing, Torchwick. Doing so, it would crush the ice, destroying Torchwick. Or at least that's what they thought. Doing so, Torchwick would be gone, or at least disappear into glass-like shards. As Izuku would say, "Wait, Where did, as before he can say anything else, Torchwick would be gone, including that of Neo. As Izuku would say, not Izuku, I meant Rex. Well, goddammit, time to start the counter then. As Rex would say, shit, he's gone, he would say. As one of them specifically, or at least his teammates would say, being that of Walter would say, well, at least we, at least got some information though. By the way, partner, you definitely seem a bit pissed. As you would say this. Yeah, I overreacted. Sorry, guys. As one of them would say this. Oh, don't worry about it, said Harmony, as she would say, besides, at least we got to kick his ass, though, she would say. As Tina would say, yeah, though it's still kind of disappointing. Also, by the way, guys, I also recently downloaded, Gacha Life 2, which is the new version of, Gacha, which is absolutely great. It basically makes it super customizable for your characters. It's definitely gonna help me with making new character designs. Can't wait for you to see them. By the way, let's continue on. After that, he would also summon in, Francis Drake, as you would basically fly in the Golden Hind, including that of Team RWBY. As while Team RWBY was basically riding on the Golden Hind, one of them would say, specifically, RWBY would say, so, your semblance, right? She would say, as he would say, yeah, what about it? As RWBY would look towards, Francis Drake, as she would say, so you're able to summon, people from what you call the Throne of Heroes? As you would say, that's what I call my semblance, so that is why I call it that. As one of them would say, specifically Weiss, well, it seems like they're quite the powerful semblance. Not only that, it allows you to basically summon these people, and they act almost similar to actual living beings. And it's absolutely terrifying, some of their abilities. As she would look towards, Anastasia, as she would say, in fact, some of them kind of look like us. As one of them would say this, specifically Yang. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, look at Weiss and, their name's Anastasia, right? As she would say this, specifically the servant right beside, Gilgamesh. Yes, but I would rather not be called that. Just call me Anastasia. Nothing more, nothing less. And what do you mean I look like her? I do not look anything like her at all, she would say. As Weiss would say this. Yeah, me neither. I mean, we have the same hair and eye color, but more or less she's not a Schnee, she would say. As I meant Rex would say, yeah, definitely not, but either way, let's just get back before, as when they got back, right at the helipad, they would see, Good Witch and, an Ozpin. As Izuku would, not Izuku, I meant, Rex would say, oh crap, he would say, as when he got down, as one of them would say this, specifically Rex. Hi, Mom, as, she would say this. So, mind telling me, Rex, what were you doing with the rest of the girls? And with your team, she would say, as, as Rex would say this. No, sorry guys, you would say, as you would just think that out loud, or at least, not really say it out loud, more like thought it, as you'd say, me and, my teammates were alerted by Team RWBY. They were in trouble, so I decided to come with them. As she would say this. And what was this trouble exactly, she would say. As I meant Rex, is, well, frankly, terrified of Good Witch, considering that she's quite the strict woman. So yeah, he obviously told the truth, and let's just say Team RWBY was suspended for a while. But for, our boys, for our boy, and the rest of his team, they were given a somewhat light sentence. I mean, they're still suspended, but at least it's not like too long. So, after that, we would, see our boy, Rex, as he's currently like, God dang it, he would say to himself. Is after, coming back to, to their dorm room, Walter would say, well, that was, gone. Well, that's, Hallywankers, he would say. I'm not really good with my, with my American slang, so let's just say that. I'm still working on it, guys, okay? As Rex would say, yeah, true. As well, he said that, one of them specifically, Tina, would say, well, at least we got a light sentence. Unlike Team Ruby, she would say with a laugh. As Harmony would say this, yeah, whatever, she would say. As while she said that, she would basically grab onto, like, grab onto something being that of a lollipop, as she would basically suckle on it. After doing so, Walter would say, well, think of the bright side. I mean, we get the chance to get ready, or at least get some things ready for the party soon. As he would say, oh, as Rex would think about it, as you'd say, oh, you mean about the, party? The, what's it called? The school party or whatever? As Tina would say this, oh, yeah, I almost forgot. I should probably get ready a dress as well. As Harmony would just say this, blah, why should I join? Besides, I'm gonna be wearing that stupid furry dress or whatever. As not Izuku, I meant Rex would say, hey guys, can you please calm down, especially you, Harmony. And besides, it'll give us a chance to basically talk with other students. As she would say this, whatever. So, Rex, as you would say, yes, as you would say, about your semblance. How does it actually work? As you'd say, oh, yeah. Every time when I try and summon my servants, or heroic spirits, they sort of drain my aura, so, as she would say, I see. And what are those things they call noble phantasms? As you would say, yeah, they're essentially their special moves. They're kind of like semblances, but they're more like they're tied to their legends or something like that. As Tina would say, tied to their legends? As would say, don't think about it too much. Anyway, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna get some sleep now. Night, guys. As after saying that, he would go to his room. Doing so, Walter would say, he's definitely hiding something. As Tina would say this, yeah, that's pretty much obvious. But let's just let it keep into himself. As Harmony would just say, whatever. Though I am quite curious about that, though. After that, you would go to another perspective. So, we would go to the perspective of one of the Apprishiki that was keeping watch on Mount Glen, as they're currently slaughtering some of the Grim nearby. As one of them would say this, brother. As they would say this, yes, brother. As you would say, we would recently gotten some intel about this white thing. Apparently they've been causing some chaos in the area. We also recently heard that they've been planning to try and use some of the Grim and the recently now found train to use it as a battering ram, destroying a part of the wall of the Vale and bringing tons and tons of Grim to the area. We should report it to Master and the Tsar. As one of them would say this. Quite the interesting event. Yes, we should send in one of our brothers. As you would say this. Hey, comrade. As one of them would say this. Yes. As one of them would say this. Please bring this to Master and the Tsar immediately. And so, that specific Aprishniki would start leaving. And so, this is where we're gonna be ending off this episode. So yeah, bye bye.